Hey, it is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today. Much love going out to all the beautiful empowered harmonizers. We are zooming in and focusing in a little bit more in depth on a great viewer question who was a female, and she said, Peace and Harmony, can you please go into a little bit more in depth on your healing tools? So I just thought today would be a good time to start because we're talking on our video just recently about sort of coming out of bouncing back from the boomerang relationship, the boomerang shame relationship that sort of whacks you in the gut, leaves you doubled over, looking at the ground, wondering which way is up, and then they're just sort of, singing to the sound of their own piccolo and someone else's drum, and you're wondering, how did I get just sort of shut out of a relationship that I felt or believed I was a part of? Or maybe the relationship has been very one-sided and you've been underrepresented, sort of chosen as the scapegoat, sort of made the invisible one, made the bad guy, just period, end of story. And if you're in a relationship with narcissist or psychopath, these roles will be very rigid, meaning they're not or going to be resistant to change. It's kind of like they're not like a bamboo stick, like, oh, we can move this way, we can go that way, we're flexible, we'll move and we'll groove. A psychopath or a narcissist, they're kind of like, you know, they're just not going to budge. You're wrong, or so you're going to be carrying the entire blanket like an x-ray blanket. Like, that's going to be their gift to you. It's like this big x-ray blanket, like, here you go, feel bad about yourself, and then, get back to joy. We'll see you there. And then you have no map. So that's just sort of what it's being like, shut out and feeling that you're maybe in just like a dark room, or, so healing from that, I would say, is rekindling. If you've ever looked at a campfire, you have to start with something flammable, like a birch bark or something, that is very flammable. Some people use whatever, I don't know, paper towels or something disgusting. You can use something natural. So as you look even at that comparison of your foundation, of your inner flame, your inner passion, like, what is igniting it? Would you choose like birch bark, or would you choose a napkin, or would you get garbage from your car? What would you use for like something flammable for yourself? So look at your own personal choices and where you feel better about yourself. So getting that, I'm a big proponent of having choice as an object of healing, because oftentimes narcissists, they want to wedge you into a very rigid role. Like, you have no choice. You have no wiggle room. You have no buoyancy. In an English class that I was taking in university, oh my God, talk about difficult courses. Those English classes are so difficult. I mean, they're all about the character analysis of these, like, 30 pages in, and then you're like, you want me to why is this one thing the whole significance of the entire book? Like, those sort of moments, like, you're like, I'm not going to make it in this class, like this, so you might have had some damaging moments, either in your family, or, things that you had to overcome. And, you really need to, sort of come back and de-shame and come back to, that sacred self where, you might have made a wrong turn. Realize it's okay to turn around. You're not wasting time. You're getting redirected. You have to recalibrate. Just like I talk about the trajectory of a plane, going a direction, you have to reevaluate, even if it's 1 millimeter or a couple millimeters. So where you're going to land tomorrow, the next day, it sets a trajectory, if you will. It sets a course. So when we talk about psychology and coming back to buoyancy and having sort of that flexibility, that one English teacher was like, he pointed me, how they, you're in a class of like 30 people or whatever back in the day, and then you've all got your, 7-pound book open. Maybe it was even heavier, with these thin little pages. And at least I don't know, 500 words per page, and you're supposed to read and know this stuff. Uh, and he's like talking about the buoyancy. And like that was a college professor, like, you're getting graded and evaluated. So the buoyancy means that you can bop along, you don't really sort of hit the edges of things. You're not sort of bent out of shape if you really explore that concept. So those English professors, I mean, those guys were nerderageous, nerdalicious, whatever you want to call them. I mean, that teacher was so cute, but he was tough and he was good. So he's like, like a doctor of English, literature and stuff. So they know what they're looking for in literature from writers. But when we talk about that hand in hand with psychology, we're looking at what is the inhibitor or what takes away that buoyancy in life, almost as if it's like a gel that should surround your physicality or your emotional body. But that gets, I would say, a lot of the media and then the shame is really sort of what sort of is like an arrow right to the gut of a lot of people's buoyancy. So buoyancy, that English teacher, oh my, I was so scared of him. I was like, if I would see him in the hall as a collegiate, I'd be like trying to hug the metal lockers, like, oh my God, please don't look at me, and try to have a conversation outside of this class. I don't know how to talk to you because you're so smart. And I'm going to say the wrong thing, and I don't even know what you're talking about, but I'm trying to learn. That's why I'm going to shut up. And then the guy would walk by, and you'd be like, oh my God. Then you'd pass your midterms, and then the finals, and then like you were done with class, and then like at that one corner you turn, and then he gives you a look and a warm smile, and it's like, happy holidays. I was like, happy holidays? To say happy holidays to your teacher, like after they graded you, it was like, oh my God, you just like were on cloud 59, man. You're like, holy God, I didn't get jabbed. So your buoyancy is what we're talking about, recovery of that. That is your own, like your own life preserver. Where are you floating? Where are you sustained? It's not all you trying to pull and tug. And so that resensitizing yourself is a place to discover buoyancy, I would say, that teacher was talking about in whatever English literature. It was from, like Wordsworth or one of those English, studying the literature of the 1800s. Oh, God, all those guys. Really writing all poetic because they didn't have social media. So what's really cool also that can give you buoyancy is looking into your ancestry. I also, just as a quick side note, followed and found some interesting data. So anything to sort of get you rooted, but in your sacred space, something that keeps you buoyant is something that keeps you sort of unplugged, like MTV unplugged from a lot of the drama, up and down extremes, noise, sensationalism, up and up and up and up, and stress and stress and stress, and doing, minute. You took this, why 6 seconds, 2 things, all that breakdown, like just to have a chance to see what this is doing to your humanality, your humanness. What is it doing? And how is it agitating, or how is it adding? And just taking a moment out to sort of, it's just like a businessman who's in his business. You have to work on your business outside of the business. You need to work on your life, I feel, to recover. Like you have to step back and work on your life and then get back in your life a little bit so your life is better. But too much of it scares people. So anyway, what can you do to sort of reawaken yourself? I would say, especially in the resensitization, is that of really the skin and that of the breathing. Just sort of calming down, because a lot of people who have been around people who are very excitable, these people then might, as a result, have a lot of, and I know our viewers have a lot of chronic PTSD or complex PTSD or real self-image or identity problems, dissociative problems, So you want to like reassociate with yourself. It's just like, yeah, that's right. Here it is. You want to come back to that, and not to impress, where were some decisions that like you leaked out your buoyancy. So like my English teacher who was like honing in on me. And I didn't know how to answer. You know how you're, you're answering from right up here, and you're like, I hope this is right. And it's just, you're supposed to be articulate. And, I guess I passed the question, but it's something that grows on you. So that buoyancy is just like that sustainability that keeps you erect. Homo erectus, you're not the crawling, look at your shoulders, how is your body enhancing your feeling? In your sacred space, look at your awareness. Oh, peace and harmony, like, I'm a laborer, I do this and this. You're not going to see me touching my toes and dancing in a tutu in my sacred space. Well, then put on some black sweatpants, a black sweatshirt, burn some, I don't know, candle that smells like sandalwood, get your man on, and just sort of learn to get in touch with who you are as a person, especially your skin and your head, stimulating the scalp. So number one, like, what can you do? Okay, so of course the bathing products, these types of things. We're talking about the dry brushing, these things that you can use. I mean, you need, and having this in your bath, in your sacred space, to stimulate the skin, the epidermis, get it alive, slough off the dead. You'll feel more alive, your skin. And then if you put that your own oil, this, I love this one, Sahara Rose. I got this from a subscription that I got. But then, you put this on just a little bit, and it, it's very soothing. So you kind of seal in the new skin after that. What else can you do? Look at your scalp stimulation. Some of the products that I use in my space, from my studies and things, I've looked at different expos or things. And this thing is amazing. It's so funny. I mean, the guy was like putting it on, and I'm like, this looks so silly, but it's literally, remember like those back scratchers when you were a kid, and it was like a ruler, and you would like joke and like all those different things. Kids, we played with the stupidest things, the Chinese finger things, paddle balls, zim zam, darts, or whatever those things. But this, now as adults, our Zim Zam people, now we're getting into self-healing. So this thing, I don't know if you can hear it, but this thing also massages and vibrates your head. It stimulates the scalp. Oh, it feels good. I mean, these little things, call it crazy. Put these in like a nice decorative basket. You might even make the basket. Get in, maybe you want to start doing some clay. Go to an art store. Maybe you want to start being a potter. Maybe you want to start working with wood or other natural products. Finding your passion. Stimulating, things in the bath. If you want, these things, even men for the skin, that are opening up and cleaning the pores, and, gently relaxing the eyes, lids. What else is in your sacred space? Well, I look at also make sure you do like the health products. I would say once you're stimulating your scalp, you've got that. You can even do like these Thai tools and these things. Oh, wow. Oh, this is so good on your neck. For me, I had that ACDF surgery. So, my neck is really tight. So this like helps, and then you've got the oil and then the natural wood, and it's just a very connected, energetic, you've got healing energy in your hand. So you need to be able to do this, especially if you've been sort of that buoyancy that English teacher was talking about. You've got to sock to the gut. You've got to come back and reset. You've got some life-changing things to do. Establishing that buoyancy is like a go-to place that you can always have. That's sort of there and airy and open, but that stimulates you for that specific reason. And you've got tools, colors, magazines, images, that are fueling of that, and that is kind of like it creates an environment. We talk about the sage earlier. I put that away. I also talked about the Palo Alto wood. I put that away. We talked about like having, natural tools and natural like shells maybe in this area. Maybe you've gone shelling and you want to decorate the shells with some glue and glitter and some other little rocks that you found. And then maybe like little sand that you found or something. I don't know if you're supposed to take that, but maybe you did. And you want to decorate your situation there. Maybe you found some weird things you want to sit back in that and then like just check some stuff out. You want to use these sort of things like in the bath, pumice to the feet or rough areas. Guys too, you'll feel better. You'll feel more humane. Peace and harmony, I've never done this. Okay, great. It's time to feel uncomfortable. Oh, I was talking about this. This is the botanical situation, botanical repair. I got this on a discount because I do the points that they have. And this thing is a mask. It's amazing. So for people who are in heavy weather situations, or harsh, and you're just feeling very blah, find a hair mask for that area. I would maybe then, maybe you have a few minutes of just calming down on a yoga mat, or you might have like a furry, like a polar bear mat, or I don't know, maybe you've got a big grizzly bear hide laying around somewhere. You're laying that thing down, and maybe you're laying in it. I don't know what you've got. Maybe a big sheep or maybe a big fleece blanket. Fleeces are very healing, so having that, using little eye things, to calm your eyes down if your eyes are overstimulated. Coming back to your senses is a very important step in the healing. So, and so to answer that viewer's questions, what kind of tools does one use? Well, then you should have a special book, like a self-care book that you can jot some things down. So like this one has about record and reflect, and it's got some ideas to write things down. Where did I sleep? What did I eat? How much water? What is my exercise? Other activities. Did I have a spa day, therapy, alone time, being silly, meditation, gratitude, time outside? It's like a checklist. So for people who are learning behavior modification through a video like this, you have to be accountable to yourself. So that's why I always talk about having the notebook nearby. You'll see me like reaching and grabbing for this stuff because you have to incorporate it. You have to have a learning cycle within yourself. You need to make that connection within. It's not always easy. It's going to take time. That is okay. A lot of people say, I really want to be happy. I really want to get, that is the first step. I mean, just recognizing that, and it's just like your true voice, like it's like ringing in the tower through the mountains of Italy. Like that is your true voice. Like, whatever it is, that is, and then, you can manage, control, listen, and sort of hone it in with time. And yes, you don't have to, it's not all alone. What other things are in your, I would say yes, that the sacred space is like part of the book that I'm working on, I think is key and very important for those people, especially in this hectic time, this pace of life. You need to have a go-to place where you can reflect and just have it sort of organized and not just like hidden. Like, a lot of my viewers, they've had problems. A spouse might disappear into a garage, into a car, into a attic, all these different things, and they have to sneak around. Don't sneak around. This is very, very upsetting. To be treated like this, because then they will then project, oftentimes these types of relationships will project false accusations onto others. And so people have a difficult time sorting it out. So the sacred space is like the go-to place that you go to just sort it all out. What do you have around there? Like I was talking before, there's some beauty Oils, men, some sandalwood oils, some, aftershave, grooming yourself really nice, changing up your products, getting something that is more stimulating to you. Don't keep the same old, same old. Say, next time I go to the store, I'm going to change up to this. And change like one or two products in your self-care routine, like your soap, your deodorant, your foot spray, whatever your hairspray, whatever your oil is. Men also, your shaving, your routine, changing up your blade, things like that. I remember in that new product development group, one of the product ideas was the world's first battery operated razor. That was so cool. So of course I don't claim any intellectual property because I signed that all away. But changing up your routine will help. It'll help you to sort of awaken up your senses. You go, oh wow, this razor has 5 blades and it has a swivel. I can actually shave a lot better, or I can shave a lot more. So you've changed it up, changing up your exfoliation, your shaving cream, your oils for your hair. Men, if you have a beard, keeping it neat or neater, keeping your hair neat or neater, keeping your grooming supplies neat or neater, reorganizing things, that one drawer, that pesky corner, chucking it out, especially now when you talk about moving into a new year. There's a lot of energy going on. Don't sit there and just re-damaging yourself. There is no, there's no beginning in shame. There is no opportunity in shame. Shame, if that has been your problem and it's created that post-traumatic stress syndrome, you really need to understand that the excitability of a narcissist or a psychopath, oftentimes you had to mirror. So as we're talking in previous videos, they can be very excitable, meaning they can be very inflammatory, make very inflammatory remarks, like just ignite, jump, and pounce on you. And we're talking about adults. We're talking about grown all people. We're talking about people with homes, jobs, kids, etc. And maybe people are exposed to this. They will burn and be very caustic. This is a word that I felt when I was really studying this in school, was that idea of the caustic, meaning that there can be an element of the human personality that can be inflammatory and hurtful of others. And oftentimes they can be living in denial of reality and what is going on. And other people oftentimes don't have the perspective to get out. So it can be really important that you call what is. You might need to call something what it is. And that is okay. And it's okay for you to be happy in spite of it all. So recognize that challenge is a gentle challenge. Making it gentle. It doesn't have to be like, oh my God, I just lost this and I'm 20 something, 30 something, 40 something, 50 something, 60 something, 70 something, and what am I going to do now? Where you are here at Peace Junction, not Wimp Junction. You're here at Peace Junction. You finally made it. Where am I supposed to be? Right where you are. Your feet are right where they're supposed to be. But make sure in your sacred space that you alive and awaken and sort of check in with that place first. The place where, before the shame, before, just that whole big wide expanse of the unknown. It is out there. That is the whole miracle. People never take a moment to look upon that. So, especially now in social media, you have to really, I would say, take some time and appreciate the outdoors, because maybe where you're at, it might be gone someday. I cannot tell you how many places, that I have not driven in my area, and then I go driving there And I'm like, oh my God, that beautiful open field, they're now putting up a whole S-load of God only knows what, and then that's no longer this amber waving grain. I mean, it is just, there's so much beautiful land. There's so much beautiful things to do and see and pursue, to be rugged, to be up close, to witness the magnificent, to challenge, like people who go whitewater rafting or on a cruise, or, other different things that you find really titillating and exciting. Like, you can't come to that awareness until you sort of really buckle in and buckle down and realize, where you are directing and resetting. Especially now, I think for a lot of people, and OMG, their careers and their couple are really changing the dynamics. So you really need to have that separation. And it doesn't mean that you hate a person or this or that. It is just a necessary element, sort of coming around. Of coming to be, of coming, of growth and healing. I would think that is the place to be. And so what do you have in there? We're talking about, maybe you have a candle. Maybe you have, like this thing. You're using like stretch bands, guys included. Maybe you've got some notebooks that say make it happen, or it just says notebook. And you're like, oh, there's my notebook. And, maybe you have a special pen. Make it special. What makes it special? What do you have? What do you like? Is there a special piece of art? Is there, some headphones you want to listen to? What can you just have around? You just sort of go there. To recharge, like a Tesla car. After 200 miles, you recharge. You got some high power. They're going for 500. What about you? What energy do you need to really tap into that's part of your new normal, that is elevating and allowing you to ascend and have sort of less stress, less chaos, to say it's okay to have social engagements be of a different tradition. Social engagements be of a different tradition. We always do this. What if that was hurtful? What if that was too stressful? What if that was really not nice for you? People mistreated you. Maybe you don't want to go back to that. You want to move forward. So you create a new tradition. What can you do that gives you maybe it takes more time for this. Maybe you take less time over here and then you sleep for an extra hour. What can you adjust? You will find out, and you will get more energy once you resensitize using, these kinds of tools that we talk about here on the channel. Have a beautiful day.